Hi and welcome to a new practice of the week. This week I would like to share a practice with you of a body scan, which is something I do a lot, especially at the beginning of class and in between movements, to really bring your awareness to if anything has changed. Um, it's kind of like a baseline thing to start with so that you can connect to your body, to how it feels, to what you can notice in the moment. And then after we do another movement or a relaxation or whatever, that can help you to notice the effect of what you've done, if anything has changed, or or how you feel after doing something else. Because if we just do things and we don't kind of have a reference to compare it to, it might be much more difficult to sense the changes that are actually happening, because sometimes the changes can be very small and difficult to notice. So with a body scan and the position that we're in during the body scan, in this case, it can be very beneficial to use that to come back to and to really bring awareness to your body and to the effect your practice and your movements have on how you experience your body. So to do this body scan, which I always start my class with this, and a lot of sessions as well, it's a great way to also just arrive in your body, in the space you're in the room you're in, and just to really connect to the moment, to your body, to your state, to your mind, to all of it. Really, there's two ways you can be here. You can either have the legs kind of open, hip width apart, and kind of have them in the air. This is a little bit more active. You can also, if you want to relax more, bring your feet a little bit wider out and allow the knees to drop inwards, depending a little bit on your body, on your state of being, which you need. Sometimes when there's a lot of tension in the inner legs, it can be really nice to widen the feet a bit and allow the knees to drop in so that you can relax more around the upper legs. Might be uncomfortable for knees or for lower back, so notice if maybe just having the legs active, if that is more appropriate for you. And as you're in this body scan, you can either have a really soft gaze or you can close the eyes, just depending on what's more comfortable for you. And you can choose whether you want to have hands on the belly, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Open the arms out to the side in whichever distance, however much space you want to take in. And all these can have kind of different effects on your state, on your mind. If you notice that your head is kind of tilting back because of a rounded upper back or tension or whatever, you can always grab like a little pillow or a blanket, especially if you're going to be in here for a little while, to support the head. The idea is that the chin and the forehead are at least level. If your chin is a little bit tucked in, that's fine, but better not be here. But you might notice the difference if you play around with that a bit. If I would have my head on the floor and my neck would be like this, it just kind of creates a bit of tension. I can do it without, but I do actually enjoy to have a bit of support below my head. Also because the ground can be a bit hard. So here I go. Also notice if maybe the back is really rounded, that you want to bring it even more down and have a little bit support below the shoulders, the tip of the shoulders, and then maybe fold the blanket or have an extra blanket that kind of supports the head in this fashion, all depending on your body and how you can give your body support. So this was a very elaborate beginning, but it's important to be able to find support and be able to notice your body. So here we are in constructive rest, active rest. And from here, with either your eyes in a soft gaze or eyes closed, you can bring your awareness to your feet. And as we are doing this scan, you don't have to move, you don't have to change. I mean, if moving helps you to bring your attention there, then that's fine. But it's not necessary. So see if you can, without movement, really sense the areas. Also not so much thinking about them, but really feeling them, if you can. But exploring that, the actual sense. So in this case, starting at the feet, sensing the pressure of your feet on the ground. Noticing if your toes are touching the ground, pressing into the ground, trying to grab the ground, or if they can just kind of be on the ground. Maybe they're off the ground. Just notice. Notice if you can sense pressure. If you can sense that connection to something. Notice the balls of the feet, the arch of the foot. The arch might be, depending on your feet, an area that doesn't have pressure, or it does. Or maybe one foot does and the other foot doesn't. So just notice how it is for you. And then notice how your legs are bent, knees up in the air, either the knees having a point of pressure as they're touching each other, if you're allowing the knees to drop in, or not, and the knees are just up in the air. And notice if you can sense if there is like really pressure or tension in the upper legs to keep your legs up there, and if there's any way to soften that a little bit, or if there's no tension, then awesome. I mean, there will always be some activation because your knees need to be up in space, but just notice if you can sense if it's a lot and if it's comfortable or not. And bring your attention to the connection of the butt and the sacrum on the floor. The sacrum is the hard bone between the butt that is probably touching the ground firmly now. And again, notice where there's pressure and where there's no pressure. Maybe there's more pressure on one side than the other, which is fine. It's just a good thing to notice these differences. And from there, notice if there's pressure of the lower back on the ground or not. So if there's a curve in the lower back or not. And then where in your upper back there is this sense of pressure returning or continuing. Sensing the shoulders, maybe the shoulder blades that are on the upper back. Noticing where they are in space, if they're touching the ground, they're ever so slightly elevated, where your upper arms are in space, sensing them, the right one, the right elbow resting on the ground, or depending on where you have your arms. Lower arms and hands. Is there any contact there with ground, with the body, with space? And then noticing the curve of the neck, so the lack of pressure around the neck. Or if you have your head elevated, then maybe you feel connection to a blanket or a pillow. Feel the weight of your head, the heaviness of your head pressing into the ground. And again, noticing with the shoulders if there's a difference between the left and the right side, if maybe one side has a sensation of more weight, of more pressure. The head maybe is turned or tilted towards the direction. And then as you're aware of your body, your body's connection to the ground, bring your attention to the movement of the breath. Where can you sense that movement? Where do you sense maybe air floating in through your nose? Maybe movement in your belly, movement in your ribs, in your chest. Just notice what you notice. There's no right way of breathing, wrong way of breathing. There's just noticing how the movement of your breath is in this moment. And how, as you bring attention to it, it might change a bit, which is fine. Try to not control it as best as you can, and to just let your body do what it does. And bring your awareness to your back. Notice if there's movement of the breath that you can notice there. Upper back, lower back, mid back. In theory, you can breathe in the whole torso, around the belly, the mid back, where there's the diaphragm, and the ribs. They can all expand and contract or relax. And just notice where you can sense that movement. And maybe for now it's just focusing on the air in your nose. Or through your mouth if your nose is not available for breath in this moment, which could also be true. And as you have brought this attention to your body, to the movement of your breath, notice and bring your awareness to the state of your mind. Is that different? Does that feel different from when you first lay down? And it doesn't mean to say that it's more peaceful or more quiet. It might be much more busy because you've noticed stuff and you get into an opinion about that, or it needs to change, or anything like that. And if that happens, then just notice that. Just be like, okay, I feel that there's some stuff I need to change, but in this moment I'm just going to notice that, because it doesn't have to change right now. And then just take a few more breaths here. Sensing your body, sensing the connection to the air around you. Maybe there's movement of air that you can sense on your skin. Maybe there's movement inside of your body, the beating of your heart, movement in your belly, tensions that are coming up or that are letting go. Everything is always changing. Once you bring your awareness to an area, it is very possible that that invokes change, relaxation or tension. But just see if you can be like an open mind, an open space in which whatever needs to happen can happen. And if you've had your eyes closed, you can open them again. And just take your time to come back to small movements, enter into your body, enter into the space you're in. Have a stretch, make any movement that you'd like to make. As in stretching out or bringing the knees to the chest, having a little rock. If this has been uncomfortable, you notice your lower back right now or your sacrum, you can always do this with a blanket below your whole body or a little pillow. Just make yourself comfortable as is needed. And you can bring yourself up to seated. And again, have a feel into what you can notice in your body. How this practice of scanning your body, noticing your body, sensing your body and your movement, the movement of your breath, how that has influenced your awareness, your state of being. If you have any questions or you want to share any experience that you've had, you can mention them in the comments or you can always send me a message, an email. If you would like to work more profoundly on things you've encountered, then you can also send me a message. I still have availability for one-on-one sessions. And if you like this video, give it a like. You can subscribe to my channel. If you know someone who could benefit from these practices, share it. That would be very helpful. And with that, I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I hope to see you again next week with a new practice of the week.